everyone. My name is Smriti and I had the pleasure of being Sia's mentor this summer. I I'm also a software engineer at Google, and I was also a mentee when I was in eighth grade, so about 13 years ago now. Um, so Sia is currently in 12th grade at Morrow Catholic High School, and she was also a mentee when she was in middle school, and she's come back to us as an intern. She also interned last summer, and so this summer she focused on productionizing the Magic Mentee projects page. For those of you who are familiar with that, entails a lot of work and a lot of learning. And I'll let her get into the details of that. But beyond what she's accomplished there, I've been so impressed with her dedication to the project, her resourcefulness. She's a whiz at figuring out how to do things online and getting the right resources, and then how she's just taken the reins on this project. She just leads completely the meetings. She generates ideas, and her curiosity and passion for this area has really come through. So it's been really inspiring to work with Sia, and I can't wait for her to share, everything she's worked on and her experiences with you today. Take it away, Sia.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Smriti. My name's Sia, and I'm currently a senior at Morrow Catholic High School. My mentor, Smriti, was born and raised in the Bay Area, and then she studied at MIT and Cambridge University, pursuing electrical engineering and computer science, as well as a minor in music, which was really interesting to me because I also computer science and I also do theater in school. So it's kind of cool that we both enjoy the arts. Currently, she works at Google in New York, my dream company, and her hobbies include Indian classical dance, piano, cooking, swimming, and traveling. My project is the Magic Mentee Project archival website, which stores and displays previous Mentee projects. It was initially developed 3 summers ago by another intern, and last summer I prototyped this website by creating an upload project form that was password protected and allowed mentees to upload their own projects to the website. We also created an image carousel and an all projects page, which provided a visual overview of the uploaded projects, as well as a project template page, which gave information about the mentee, their project, their grade level, etc. Last summer, they were all reading from a set of arrays and they were writing to it as well. This summer, as part of the effort to productionize the website, we transitioned to using the Firestore database provided by Firebase. So this is a quick timeline of how the project was developed. For the first 3 weeks, I just familiarized myself with the idea and concept of databases by researching hash tables and dictionaries, and also trying to experiment a little bit with the database to find out how it worked. Then I used those lessons and I integrated it into the actual Magic Mentee Project archival website during weeks 4 and 6, so it's solely read and write to the database. And then I expanded upon that by allowing the website to receive and display information about non-website projects, such as hardware projects or research projects or anything else. And then in the final week, I did some code cleanup and UI changes so that we could move on to the next phase, which is productionization. So I've used this term a lot. And productionizing basically encompasses 3 main parts. The first part is ensuring that the code is readable. And to accomplish this, we added comments and renamed functions and variables. So it was clearer what exactly each piece of code and how it contributed to the overall project. This way, if anyone wants to work on this project in the future, they can pick up right where we left off. The second part is scaling a website. So currently the website is hosting 5 Mentee projects. However, if we want to add 50 more Mentee projects in the future, it'll still be able to accommodate that, as well as if there's a lot of user traffic coming from people who want to see the projects, the website shouldn't crash. And it's also secure to make sure that only mentees can edit the database. The last part of productionizing is testing the form and the project template page to ensure that we can actually display non-software projects. So every single mentee gets highlighted for all the incredible work that they've done. In the next couple of slides, I'll now delve a little bit deeper into points 2 and 3 about the specific ways that we scaled and tested the website. So the first part about improving scalability was transitioning from arrays to the Firestore database. So as you can see in the left screenshot, that's a that was a photo of the code from last year when I prototyped it. And there's a series of arrays for each and every mentee information that I wanted to add. And it was tough to add more information to the end. And it was also tough to keep it organized. So by using the Firestore database instead, it was more organized and it was easier for us to see, as well as easier to add and delete information as desired. The next part of improving scalability is reducing the amount of manual labor involved in Menti project uploads. So if you look at the left screenshot, that's a photo of the alert that you used to get after you were done uploading a project in the prototyped version of the website. And the way that it worked was it would upload all the information inside of a file, and then someone would have to go and copy paste that to the end of the arrays so that it would actually get reflected in the website. But now, since we're using the Firestore database, everything gets automatically written into the database. And because Firestore is a real-time database, it updates real time, meaning that the changes are automatically reflected inside the website without us having to do any additional manual work. Talking about the testing part of productionization, we changed the logical flow for the upload project form to ensure that all mentees can add as much information as they want about their website, or sorry, their project in general, without actually giving any irrelevant information. So as you can see, depending on the type of tag that you select, the set of questions that you're going to be asked are different. So if you choose a software or website tag, for example, you're going to be asked about languages you used and whether your code is on GitHub. Whereas if you don't select a software tag, you likely will not be using much code or languages, so you won't be asked those questions. So because the type of content that mentees enter in the form are different based on the type of project they have, those changes have to be reflected on the project template page as well. So as you can see on the left, I have a screenshot of research project, and on the right, I have a screenshot of my 7th grade project with Magic, which was a website. And because the research project didn't have any code photos or anything, there's no place to see the code photos or no way to download code. And also, because the research project mentee was not an actual mentee, it's someone I made up, they didn't have an interview link, so that's also not being displayed on the website. And so that's just some fail safes to ensure that relevant information only is displayed. So in order to create this website, I first learned Firebase applications, which I broke down into 3 main parts. First was the database, which stored mentee information in the form of strings, such as their name, last name, grade level, etc. Second was Firestore rules and authentication. So the authentication page was basically a login form, which ensured that people had to be logged in if they wanted to access the form. And in case they were able to bypass that system, a good thing in Firestore database is that they have rules, which means that only authorized individuals can edit the database. So if someone is, for whatever reason, able to bypass the authentication system, they won't be able to submit their information to the database, which keeps it more secure and adds an extra layer of security. Lastly was storage, which archives images and code files. And in order to easily retrieve this information, we wanted to store that in the database. So we used code to dynamically get the download URL and save that as a field in Firestore for each mentee. Then I learned how to use GitHub, specifically pushing my code from the local computer to the repository, as well as learning about regular expressions, which are a way of validating a URL. So for example, mentees are uploading their interview or presentation link. So this is making sure that it has the keywords YouTube and embed to ensure that they are actually submitting the correct link. Next, I learned about different database structures, specifically because Firebase offers 2 different types of databases, the real-time database and Firestore. So one of my first tasks was comparing the pros and cons of each to decide which one we would finally use. I looked at scalability, cost effectiveness, and the querying abilities of each. Querying just means how easily you are able to retrieve information from a database. And in every aspect, Firestore was superior for our purposes. So we ended up using Firestore. And after we finalized the type of database, we had to see how we would structure the database by kind of brainstorming a couple schemas. So as you can see in schema 1, our first idea was to group it by year and mentee name. However, that was unscalable just because the same mentee could ostensibly have two different projects that they were part of two different terms in Magic, for example. So we ended up choosing schema 5, where instead of labeling it by mentee name, every project, has their own unique Firestore generated UID. And this just ensures that multiple mentees can submit multiple projects. To learn this, I used Firebase documentation, YouTube for tutorials, W3 Schools for syntax and reference, and Stack Overflow for specific help questions and snippets. To expand upon this website, I like to find a way to dynamically take a mentee's code repository link, fork that to get Magic's GitHub account, retrieve a link of that forked copy, and save that link to the database. This way, in case a mentee ever decides to remove the repository from their GitHub account, we already have a record of it in Magic's GitHub, so it's fine. We'd have to use GitHub API to do this, which is a little bit big and complex, but something I definitely love to work with in the future. Next is giving this current lot of mentees authorized login so they can upload their own projects and interact with the website. After that, I'd love to move the website from GitHub to Get Magic's official website. That way it's more attached to the organization. And finally, because Firestore is such a powerful database, the ability to search and group mentees by the chosen tags so you could filter searches would be really cool. Something that I really love about Magic was that it helped me expand my limited view of data structures. Before this internship, I was 100% convinced the only way to store data was through arrays. And so learning about hash tables and databases really helped me see CS in a more broader lens. The next thing that I really loved working with was my mentor Smriti, because she really went above and beyond what she was kind of required to do as a mentor by teaching me a lot of real life applications for coding, such as software terminology and practices, including prioritization. So P0 would be the most important and P5 would be a little less important, and so on and so forth. She also helped me explore tools and frameworks like Firebase and kind of experimenting with the basics of GitHub API. And another thing that I really like about Magic is it gives a very holistic mentorship experience. So instead of just teaching us hard skills like coding, I really feel like my mentor has given me tools that have helped me prepare for a career in STEM in the future. And by teaching me a lot about prioritization and productivity and staying on task with agendas, which have really given me a direction with the project. Some challenges were transitioning the code from relying on arrays to the database without breaking the website, as well as finalizing the flow for the upload form, just because there were so many moving parts and so many different diverse ideas that mentees could have for projects. So now this is my demo. If you scroll down on the home page, you're going to see an image carousel, and you can select a mentee project from here, which redirects you to a page specifically for that mentee, which displays their name, grade level, photos, download code, etc. And if you look at the URL, there's a UID there that corresponds to the UID inside the Firestore database. That way the website knows exactly which mentee or which project they should be getting the information from. To upload more projects, you first have to go into the login page. And if you don't have the correct credentials or you don't have any credentials, you won't be allowed to advance. This just adds an additional layer of security. Next, you're going to be asked to enter in your personal information. And in case you forget to fill out a form, like I'm going to do in the demo in a minute, there's fail safes in place to ensure that you can advance. That way you can fill out as much information as you can. Now there are tags, and as you can see, with each tag you click, a different set of questions pops up. This is just to make sure that you can explain your project as thoroughly as you want. And next, what we're doing is there's 3 written things that mentees have to write about, such as their project description, reflections about their magical experience, etc. And these are required, and there's a word count in place to ensure that you only keep a high-level summary and don't kind of lose focus with the miniature details. And in case you don't know what to write, there are pop-ups throughout the form that you can click on that give examples from other mentee projects for what you can actually say. Now I'm going to go over how to upload your interview link. There's a video inside the that teaches you how to do this, but I'm also going through it in this demo. And now for the presentation link, I'm going to purposely enter in the incorrect link instead of the embed link, just the watch link. And first thing that the form is going to do is see if there's any unfilled fields. There is. So it's going to make sure that I fill that out. And once that's filled out, it's going to validate the URL. And since it's not correct, it's going to ask for the embed link. Also, this is the project that I made in 7th grade, if you're wondering what project I'm uploading. Now it's the code files, which basically there are fail safes in place to ensure that you don't accidentally upload too much, but you can always upload less than the required amount in case you don't have enough photos. And then the last part is uploading code if you have any, and you're going to upload a zipped file, and there's validation for that just to ensure that it's easy to download code in the future. And now in the upload progress section, you're going to see that everything gets automatically uploaded to Firebase, and it's automatically reflected inside the website. So there's no need for any manual labor in the middle. And now when you scroll through this particular website, you'll see that it's full of the information that we just entered inside the form. And if you scroll to the top of the URL, you'll now see a different UID is now appended to the end. And if you go inside the database, you'll see that that corresponds to Menti Sia, which is what I just uploaded. Thank you so much for listening. And if you'd like to explore this website more, here's the link. Does anyone have any questions?
We have time for, there are some hands that are raised, so I'll go with Sarah first.
Oh, sorry, I think I meant to applause, but that was really great. I put my comment in the chat and because this was really cool to see. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, I clearly misunderstood. Lauren, do you have a question or then applause? I just see a hand, so I don't know what that means.
Yeah, no, I do have applause, but I also have a question. This is really great. I love how you've built on this project over the years. You mentioned that you're looking forward to a career in STEM, and I'm just curious about how these projects might have helped you decide what you want to do in STEM one day.
I feel like these projects really helped me because the thing that I was kind of nervous about with STEM was, would it get kind of monotonous? Like, would I still be interested in it after 10 years? And so kind of working on this project has shown me like, there's so much variety in the field, even if it's just something like only web development, if you're only looking at one sector, there's still so much in it. So that's just really like made me feel like, you know, it's a fun field and it's definitely a good one.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Any other questions? We have 30 more seconds. I know we are over time by 1 minute, but we had some technical difficulties in general. Any other questions for Sia?